guys, welcome to this newest review from Digital Umbrella. Today we'll be looking at this book called Spire by Michael R. Miller, who is also the author of the Dragon's Blade trilogy. Sometimes there is a book out there that fills a void in your soul that you didn't know existed until that moment. Spire is that book for me at this time. Spire belongs to a genre of fantasy books called Lit RPG. Lit RPG books basically combine the mechanisms of video games with a fantasy or science fiction storyline. They have to exist both in the real world as well as in the game world, and most importantly, characters have to know which world they actually belong to. You might look at this genre of book and think that it is yet another wagon in the Lit RPG train that seems to be so popular nowadays, especially with the advent of books like Ready Player One. But if you skip this book due to its genre, you will be missing out on an excellent story as well as one of the most relatable lead characters that I have read about. If you want to know what this book is about in one line, it is basically Die Hard meets World of Warcraft. And I have taken this line directly from the blurb for the book. The early chapters introduce the main character, Jack Cross, and set up the context of the book. These characters immediately get into character motivations and analysis, which I like quite a lot. The fact is that Jack Cross wants to game for selfish reasons and not for some altruistic motives or saving the world like the other stories in the Lit RPG world. The moment I got to know this, my curiosity was piqued. But then the doodoo hit the fan, and that's when I started getting diehard flashbacks. From this moment on, the book grabbed me by the throat and never let go. There are just enough callbacks to Die Hard to make this book enjoyable, but not so much that the story ends up being a Die Hard clone. I just wish that, along with the Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man, and other pop culture references, there had been a meta reference to the Die Hard movie within the book itself. This would have made the inner nerd in me go to 11. The Lit RPG elements of the book are well balanced, such that I felt familiar enough to understand the mechanics of the game while having some elements which were unique and made this stand out. The author introduces a new class called Scavenger, which I have not encountered in any of the RPG games that I have played, and this class made the book all the more fun. Now, the author also makes this class integral to the storyline at an extremely detailed level. For example, if Jack Cross had not chosen the Scavenger as his class in the game, he would not have been able to achieve what he was able to. And I mean that is some next level planning over there. Now let's get to the characters. There are essentially two main characters in the book. One is Jack and the other is Ellie. Once the book enters the Die Hard phase, which happens quite early, the only character interactions are between these two. These interactions are great because these two characters have to work with one another, understand one another, work with each other's insecurities, and at the end, both of them have a satisfying character arc. I love the portions where they interact since there is a real conversation that happens along with the usual stuff around driving the story forward or driving the plot forward. Michael Miller has managed to come up with a book that is self-contained, has no contradictory elements, and no discernible plot holes that at least I could find. This plot does not rely on the stupidity of people to move it forward, the so-called stupid plot. The villain, even though we don't get to see a lot of him, is quite complex and his motives are understandable. It's not like the villain wants something selfish, and I really like this aspect of the book too. And to top it all, I am left with a sense of satisfaction after reading the book. You know that afterglow you get when you read a really good book? That happens to me very rarely, and that happened to me when I read this one. So in conclusion, this is a wonderful book. Do not miss it, especially if you like Lit RPG or you like video games. Go for it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please share. Please click the bell icon so that you are notified when the new video is uploaded. Please comment if you have feedback on how to improve and if there are any books or TV series or movies that you want me to review. Thank you once again. Bye bye.